Since 2002, Israel has been building a separation barrier that is twice as high and 4 times as long as the Berlin Wall. There are currently about 30,000 Palestinians trapped on the side of the wall that Israel claims, because this barrier is not being built along the United Nations determined Green Line, but actually encroaches on the territory of the West Bank. This is a de facto annexation of nearly 10% of Palestinian land. The Green Line is the division of Palestinian and Israeli land that was determined by the United Nations in 1948. Israel has consistently violated the Green Line's boundaries with its invasion and control of Palestinian territories, and it is now setting this illegal expansion in stone. With the construction of the wall, Israel has taken control over some of Palestine's most arable land and extremely important water sources. In addition, the separation wall boxes in entire Palestinian villages and leaves them with only one opening to connect with the rest of the West Bank. This single exit and entrance is heavily monitored and often shut down entirely by the Israeli Defense Forces, severely limiting Palestinian freedom of movement and preventing adequate access to education, employment, and healthcare. There are 30,000 Palestinians illegally trapped on Israel's side of the wall, and another 100,000 are estimated to have their mobility severely limited. This is a direct result of the Israeli separation wall, which surrounds their villages and cities on 3 sides. The Israeli Defense Forces further inhibit Palestinian freedom by controlling the one remaining connection to the West Bank with military force.
The heavy military presence on Israel's separation wall is eerily similar to the situation on the U.S.-Mexico border. Since the 1970s, our own government has been constructing barriers and steadily increasing armed forces along their southern border with the rationale of keeping out the invader. This hyperbolic fear of the other has driven policies that tear families apart and result in hundreds of unmarked deaths in the Sonoran Desert. This barrier also affects people living along the separation fence. Just along the Arizona-Mexico border, there are about 28,000 members of the Tohono-O'odham Nation, caught in the middle of the border militarization. The reservation, which spans both sides of the U.S.-Mexico border, is caught in the midst of colonial policies that are now militarizing their home in the form of an increase of border patrol agents, checkpoints, drones, and overall surveillance of their community. Furthermore, in the last 10 years, there have been at least 2,000 recorded fatalities as a result of this militarization, which forces immigrants to attempt crossing in the most dangerous and least hospitable areas that have lower security. Children are beginning to suffer disproportionately from the control of militarized borders, as an estimated 60,000 attempt to enter the U.S. each year now, traveling alone and seeking refuge from violence in their home countries.
Neither of these barriers recognize human dignity, right to life, or compassion for others' suffering. Instead, these separations inhibit our progress by restricting access to education, employment, and even the most basic of resources, water and food. Israel has blatantly defied international law by unilaterally annexing land that should remain under Palestinian control, separating families just as the militarized U.S.-Mexico border does. We pay attention to issues at home, but communities across the globe are being subjected to violations that look and feel very much like ours. If we don't stand in solidarity now, who will?